Browns getting ready for an important one in Houston against the Texans Sunday at 1 o'clock, trying to get win number 10 on the year. And some news from the Browns relative to who will be available. Joel Bitonio, guard, listed as questionable for Sunday's game, ruled out. Anthony Walker may need knee surgery. Won't know for a few more days on that. Juan Thornhill with a calf. Ogbo Okenrankwo, Jordan Kanasic, all ruled out for the Texans game. Now, the Browns will get their center, Ethan Posick, back against the Texans. Kevin Stefanski talked about the struggles running the football against Bears and getting Posick back in the middle of that offensive line.
As you know, Kelsey, that center, it's such an important part of your operation and in the huddle and at the line of scrimmage. And, you know, we don't miss a beat with Nick. We're very fortunate to have Nick in that role, but getting Ethan back there, a guy who's done it for us at a high level the last couple of years, is a big deal.
Were there opportunities there, and also do you feel like you might have to, pull some things out to kind of get that going again?
There's always opportunities. There's always things we could do better. There's always things I could do better when you come up short in that regard. So we'll work very hard at that. I'll tell you, I'll give them a ton of credit. When these coaches are pretty good on the other side. These players are pretty good on the other side. So sometimes you tip your cap, but we're back to work and finding ways to make sure that we're efficient and explosive.
Kevin Stefanski talking about the run game. Let's welcome in G. Bush from 92.3 The Fans, the Barbershop, as well as the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. G. Bush, hopefully Posick, Bitonio back. Hopefully there's some semblance of a run game that doesn't resemble 1.6 yards a carry, because the Browns need more than that.
Yeah, they're going to need some of that. There's going to be some situations where, you're going to need to run the football just to keep Joe Flacco a little clean. Right now, I know we're enamored with it, and they call me the Duke knee-jerk because I get excited when the Browns do things. I get excited when Joe Flacco throws for 300 yards plus yards. However, it has to be somewhat of a sobering situation as we move into the playoffs. You're no longer going to be playing teams that may have some deficiencies in up front as far as stopping the run. You need to be able to run the football a little bit. And the reason you need to run the football just enough is to keep the play action alive and well. Joe Flacco talked about how play action was such a big part of what he did earlier this week in the press conference, and just talking about how they need to keep guys honest. You need to be able to keep linebackers, hold those linebackers for another second, hold those safeties for another second, so that you give some of your young receivers like Cedric Tillman the opportunity to move downfield. You give Amari Cooper a little bit of room to move and roam. And when you see that play action and you are able, and you have to honor that, it gives you just enough space for you to make those throws. And I think that's a huge part of what Kevin Stefanski is doing. I think it's a huge part of what Joe Flacco's done well. And I expect them to continue to make that a big part of what they do. But first and foremost, you got to be able to run the ball, especially when it gets cold outside, especially when it comes to playoffs. And right now, the Cleveland Browns is such a good – man, this is so crazy. I'm just so happy. The Cleveland Browns, think about this. A couple days from Christmas, we're talking about what they need to do to get into the playoffs and what they need to do to ball out in the playoffs. Not regular season or sneak in. We talking running the ball in the playoffs, man. That's a beautiful thing.